All right, AOA podcast back for another episode. So good to see you all. Frankie C is here.
What's happening?
Our lead topic, did Giuliani screw Trump?
Spoiler alert.
Bragg is delaying the grand jury. Jamie Dimon testifying in the Epstein case. The heroes of Nashville. This plain seat controversy. What would the Simpsons characters look like if they were in real life? Did Jonah Hill get engaged? What the heck is Lesbianics? And Pepsi, Frank, has a new logo.
No.
Don't go, because that's our show. That look of horror on your face.
That was genuine.
Yeah, it was not acting.
No, that was brutal.
All right, Frank, the investigative team here at the AOA podcast is extensive.
Is it?
And they never give up.
Uh-huh.
And every now and then they get lucky and find something on TikTok. And that is what we have here this evening.
This is TikTok we're talking about?
This came across our TikTok. Somebody sent this to us, and it is Rudolph Giuliani's on the Sean Hannity pogrom.
Okay.
And he is explaining how campaign funds were not used to pay back Stormy Daniels.
Okay.
Now, nothing wrong with that. That is him protecting his client, Donald J. Trump, former president of the United States. But the issue would be is if he were to say that the president then paid back Michael Cohen. That would not be good for the president's case. Because when you're facing a grand jury, because your lawyer paid off a prostitute / porn star to not talk about your relationship amidst a presidential campaign, your only real legal course of action is saying that guy paid her on his own volition and I had nothing to do with this. But if your own lawyer was on national television telling everybody how you paid that person back, maybe not good.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
When did he do this? Because I feel like this Giuliani going on the air and saying that happened a while ago.
A very long time ago. Would you like to hear the clip?
I would.
Here you go, sir.
You were paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000. I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
Boom.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yep.
There's no campaign finance law.
Zero.
And there's Hannity going, oh, I didn't know that he did. Yeah, because that's probably shouldn't have been said. That wouldn't have been a good thing to admit.
He said that back when the Stormy Daniels thing came up, how many years ago?
Right.
And that was, we thought that was going to be like the big, I guess that's going to be big in this proceeding now. But back then we were like, yeah, there it is. It's his lawyer saying that he was involved.
Mm-hmm.
So what's, I don't understand.
Now, is that, they can get into an argument of Giuliani misunderstood or was told the wrong thing or whatever it was, and it didn't really happen. I understand all that. Not ironclad. But again, if you're trying to say, well, Cohen did that on his own, because that's the legal action. That's what other defense do you have?
Right.
And then you have your own lawyer being like, there's the campaign finance. I'm going to pay the thing back. And he gave, now it's like, well, holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, that was, I don't know how many years ago. And now I'm sure that's going to be used. And I'm sure Giuliani, you think they'll have Giuliani testify?
Yeah. I mean,
right. I mean, is this true? What he said, what you said on the air.
He said, yeah.
He's going to have to say it under oath.
The thing is like, again, when you're trying to, plead a case, you just have to convince the jurors, right? I mean, you just have to win the case. So if you can be like, hey, this was talked about, if Giuliani is not the only one who's saying this, then Trump's got a real problem on his hands, right? Because if his inner circle was talking about this, if there was a text, that's why, again, I said from the beginning, and I stand by my statement, I would love to see what Alvin Bragg has, because if he's got something more than what everybody else has had that have passed on this case, then this would all be worth it. But if he doesn't, then he's the biggest dope that ever lived.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like, how is this not a slam dunk? They have a check signed by Trump. They have his lawyer, the guy who's supposed to defend him, on TV saying he paid Michael Cohen back. I mean, but they also they have Trump saying, "I had nothing to do with it. I don't know what you're talking about."
No, I don't know.
What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't get it.
Now they're also trying to, which I think is a waste of time, but they're also trying to rustle up this idea of Trump was intimidating Bragg when he posted the thing about, him and holding the bat and that whole thing, which I have to tell you, like, I mean, the guy is, I don't know if you want to use the word genius. Frank probably does it.
No, I don't.
Perhaps conniving is a little bit better. But the guy has a way about him where he can post something, it's clear as day what it is, but then, it's also not his fault because he's posting an article and those people wrote that article and he didn't control the photograph, because he's claiming
he shared it on his page.
Yeah, he reshared. So in case you don't know what I'm talking about, Trump put something on his Truth Social. It was a link to an article. And when you put a link to an article on Facebook or Truth Social, the image of the article pops up on top. Now, in the Hannity interview, Trump said that that wasn't the photo when he first shared it, which can happen. You can change that photo and it will change on social media when you go and look at the page. But basically, that's what he's saying. But it's kind of like, he knew what he was doing,
I guess.
but he's done it in a way where it can't really stick to him. But anyway, there's people out there today trying to say that in itself is a crime because you can't attempt to intimidate like a DA. That's a no. He knows. So
Man,
I don't know.
This guy.
He's good. He is a Batman villain.
He is a Batman villain, but. It's true because Batman captures them, doesn't capture them. They keep coming back every week. And this guy just keeps coming back every week with a new thing. It's like, all right, what else can I screw up today? And he comes out with this thing and it's like, oh, good. Okay. Another thing to add to the pile.
Will Trump survive this latest escapade?
Tune in next week. Same Trump time, same Trump channel.
Topic number 2 here, Frankie C. Bragg delays the grand jury. So the news coming out via a source who is reporting that he's going to put the grand jury on hiatus for about a month. He's going to give him a break till after April 5th and restart later on in the month. A source familiar with the matter is telling news outlets.
Oh, my God. How many? Just get it. I can't with this.
Well, a lot of people are speculating that this is Bragg's way of easing out the back door. Like, oh, let me say we're going
back away from this whole thing.
Yeah. Let me say we're going on a break. Things will calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come Friday at 5:40, 4:55, I'll put a press release out saying that we're not going to pursue any legal matters and blah, blah, blah. That'll be the end of it.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
Such a tease.
Certainly not good. I don't think it's good if you put him on a month-long hiatus.
Right.
I don't know. I don't think that's a good sign for the case. But again, I don't know how many people have really seen this Giuliani clip or if that would even play,
I think that clip that's made the rounds before. I mean, that's been around for years, that clip.
It has been. Yeah, it has been. But I don't think anybody has been talking about it in this latest context.
Maybe not. But, I mean, you got that. It just doesn't look good. Everything that he's doing. There's nothing that he's done that makes you go, oh, all right, got it. We're good. Everything he's doing, it just adds to it. I'm like, stop. He's always on. If I were lawyers, which they're probably in the face, they're probably yelling at him till they're blue in the face. Stop posting on your social media. Just stop it. Stop talking about the case. You dumb idiot.
Stop posting on Truth Social, asshole.
Right. But he's not going to stop. So you can't stop him from doing anything, apparently.
He loves it. He can't stop.
I know.
So that's that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, just been one big tease.
Keep the old eye on it. Of course, membership here on the podcast always helps us put the podcast on, pay for all the expenses associated with the podcast. As low as $2.99, you could join, and you can take part in some of our shows, like the 420 show that's coming up. You get exclusive benefits, member merch discounts, all kinds of great behind the scenes stuff, all that and more. Link in the description below on the homepage of anthonyonair.com. Join up, become a member today.
Do it.
Thinking about making members only jackets, but it might be a copyright thing there. Yeah, but it would be cool, wouldn't it?
I mean, if you call it like AOA holes.
I know.
Jackets, I don't know.
I was going to go with the whole members thing.
I got it.
I was going to steal it direct from the members only company.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good.
Brilliant name for a jacket, though. Yeah, any kind of thing. Just be like, members only. Like, members of what?
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
matter.
it didn't last, right? Isn't that an old kind of thing? Nobody really wears those.
No, but I think it kind of came back in an ironic way, which most things tend to do.
That's true.
You know?
All right. Speaking
Speaking of coming back, Epstein's back. This case has popped up where they're trying to persecute JP Morgan and some of the financial institutions that backed Jeffrey Epstein. And now we just got the word that Jamie Dimon, the longtime chief executive of JP Morgan Chase, will be interviewed under oath. He will give a deposition regarding his bank's decision to retain Jeffrey Epstein as a client, according to people familiar with the matter. The sworn deposition is due to take place behind closed doors in May. As I said, this is the latest in this high-profile case against the U.S. bank and an alleged Epstein victim by the United States Virgin Islands, where the disgraced financier had a home. The lawsuit claims that JP Morgan, where Epstein banked for 15 years from 98 to 2013, benefited from human trafficking and ignored several internal warnings about his client's illegal behavior. The lender has described the claims as meritless.
Sure.
I hope
What
they
I'm
get
wondering-
nailed.
Yeah, I hope so. What I'm wondering is, where's the list we were all promised?
I know.
What's taking so long for that to come out?
I don't know.
They said they got the all clear, right?
They said that Daily Mail reported it. It's, what are we going back now? Maybe a month? Maybe a little bit more?
Maybe more, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that damn list is.
Come on already with it.
The flight logs. Think we're ever going to
Yeah.
get it?
I don't know. I mean, that's probably as likely as the Trump arrest.
What comes first, the Epstein logs or the Trump arrest?
That'd be a great day if it both happened at the same time. What do you talk about first?
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe not a great. Maybe we separate them. Do one and the other on 2 different days.
I don't know what we would do, but that would be a big day. A lot of numbers that day, my friend.
Yeah, that's true.
Thanks to everybody who's in the live chat. I appreciate all the nice comments that we missed Monday's episode.
Yeah, Robin saying Trump makes me want to puke. Puke. That's a funny word. Puke. Little
Puke.
Seinfeld there.
Victoria, I get butthurt when you guys miss a day, throws off my commute to work. Yeah, apologies for missing Monday. Before we get to the Nashville thing, and I really do not want to talk about it. It was a weird sort of a day where, like, we had some stuff planned, and then the shooting happened in Nashville at the school, and then it was kind of everywhere. And to be totally honest with you, like, I had just like the worst migraine, and it got to a point where I was like looking at what we had planned for a show and then what everybody was talking about, because there's like a real scientific way that we choose the topics. Like we do. I know Frank doesn't believe it, but we do. Like there is this certain way that we go about it so that we know we're talking about the day's biggest stories, and then that sort of just eclipsed everything. It became the biggest story, and I just could not sit here for an hour talking about another mass shooting. I just can't do it anymore.
It's gotten. I mean, it was way out of hand a long time ago, and it's just nonstop now.
It's become ludicrous.
Sickening.
Yeah, it's
Sickening.
become ludicrous.
The worst. I mean, we're gonna say I'm biased, but are we talking about it now? I mean,
I don't want to, but you say whatever you want to say.
okay. The worst of it is you look at the. I'm gonna say it, but Republican senators and Congress people who are like, yeah, we're not gonna. There was a guy, representative, I forget. I think it was from his state, from that state, from Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes, the
And he
picture.
said, what?
You talking about the picture?
No, what picture?
The Christmas picture?
No. There are
Oh,
plenty of Republicans posing with their guns in their hand, and posing, and they got the pins now that they wear that are AR-15s, which is disgusting.
They wear AR-15 pins? I didn't know that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of Republican senators that have them right here. And there was this guy. They asked, "Are we gonna, what are we gonna do about it? Are we gonna fix this?" And he said, "No, we're not gonna fix this." Just like that. I was like, what? I forget who it is. I don't want to name him and then get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But and then everybody's crying. Second Amendment. Shove your Second Amendment up your ass. That's what I think about the Second Amendment.
I saw a reporter from Australia, I think. Shout out Oceani, where there's real reporters, and they had gotten one of the Congress people from Tennessee, and it was one of these guys who had put up a photograph of, and again another of these fucking dopes holding AR-15s and shit in their Christmas photo with his family.
Yeah, of course.
And so the shooting happens and he took it down, and I guess this journalist was tracking it somehow, and he was like, he got him in the hallways of Congress, and he was like, what'd you take the photo down for? If you must feel bad. He was trying to really trap him into giving the answer of, yeah, it's stupid to have that to begin with, but he didn't admit it, as he ran away, as they all tend to do.
So here's the guy, Representative Tim Burchett, from Republican representative from Tennessee, on the school shooting. I don't know if you want to play the audio or not.
If you want to play it, go ahead.
Yeah?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, let me...
Look at us not talking about this.
Precious little kids lost their lives, and I believe 3 adults, I believe this. And the shooter, of course, lost their life too. So it's a horrible, horrible situation. And we're not going to fix it. Criminals are going to be criminals. And my daddy fought in the Second World War, fought in the Pacific, fought the Japanese. And he told me, he said, buddy, he said, if somebody wants to take you out and doesn't mind losing their life, there's not a whole heck of a lot you can do about it. 3.
We're not going to fix it. So
well, that's just flat out not true. I mean, there are some things you can do, and you could always try.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all these the arguments against passing common sense gun laws. The arguments against that are, well, criminals don't care; they're just going to break the law. Well, so that means we shouldn't pass any more laws? There should be no laws because it doesn't matter because criminals are just going to break them anyway.
Mm.
I mean, why have a law against stealing a car? Criminals are just going to break in and steal your car anyway. Yeah, but there's a law saying that if they do it, there's a huge penalty for that, and you go to jail and all this shit. So, yeah, we should make more laws, enforce those laws, and have, tighter gun control. I don't understand why it's a free-for-all. Why there's one thing. Everything else has regulations, and you have to sign up for stuff, take lessons, do this, do that. But guns, for some reason, it's a free-for-all. It's like the least regulated thing. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why is that one thing so unchecked.
It's crazy and it's very stupid. Anyway, but you know, this like so I couldn't just drone on about it because here's the other thing too. In my son's outside of my son's school, they found bullet shells, like
Really?
yeah, like by the dumpster. So that was like a whole thing. And then there was a stabbing here on Long Island, not really close to where we live, but actually closer to where you live. Some kid stabbed another kid, and kid had to be like airlifted out. It all kind of happened the same day. So by the time like showtime ran around, I was just like, I can't do this for an hour. I just can't have the same fucking conversations and do the same exact show again. So I'm bringing it. It's a topic tonight. It's a topic on this episode because the one thing I can't help but bring up and talk about, and there's a link to the video in the description of this episode if you haven't seen it yet, but the body cam footage of the police officers that responded to the call. Did you see it?
I saw the body cam, yeah.
Yeah, well, we won't watch it here because YouTube doesn't like that stuff and we'll be in more jail than we already are. But you can watch it. You know, you could always pause this and watch it or watch it later. It's unbelievable. I mean, it is unbelievable. I just so happened to catch it. And I'm Frank, when I tell you, I went on the internet on Monday to post that there won't be a show. And then I did not return to the internet until like late last night because I'm just waiting for all of the stuff to blow over. And I know people are going to criticize me for that and be like, you have to get involved. You can't just let it happen. I'm done with it. I can't do it. I give up. I throw my hands up. So I didn't see it, but then I happened to catch it last night, like late last night, and I watched it and I was just blown away by the bravery by these cops that, you know, the cop pulls up to the school. You can hear the call come over the radio. He pulls up to the school. There's a nervous principal, teacher, whoever, you know, with hands him the key to get in the place because they locked the place down now. Like this is like these, you know, which is terrifying that they like lock the kids inside the school with these people. But I understand that's whatever they think is the best procedure.
You want to try to contain the shooter, I guess.
Yeah,
they are.
But he's rolling in and they're just checking classrooms and checking bathroom doors, and they have no idea where the shooter is or how many shooters there are. I mean, they said one, but you know, you're rolling into this, you know nothing. You know, it's not a video game where you know, or somebody tells you what the parameters are. You have no idea other than there's a psychopath in the building with an automatic weapon just shooting children, right? And these guys go in there, and the calmness in their voices, their training, you just watch it kick in. Like, I know cops get a lot of shit these days, and it might not be popular with the woke people, you know, to praise a cop, but I'm sorry, those guys are heroes.
They did a great job. They went in. It was I mean, from the time they got there to the time they took the shooter out, what was it, like 2 minutes?
It was a little longer than that, but it was it was
insanely
quick. Yeah,
it was quick. They went right in and they just, you know, worked their way through the halls and got to the spot, and they were like, and that was it.
From the time they got there, it was just minutes. I think from the time of the first shot to the time they got there was maybe 14 minutes, which is really not a lot of time when, you know, when you think about it. But yeah, and if you watch the video, watch it, because they finally start to hear the shots, because again, they go in and it's a little quiet, and then they go and they realize it's on the second floor, and they go in. And just that moment where the one police officer, his body camera, they're in a hallway and it leads to like a bigger room that's like a wide open room. And just the moment where he clears the end of the wall where you can see the shooter and then shoots the person and takes them out. Like it's, you know, it's unbelievable. Like, it's a feeling that we could all only get from a video game. That is the closest we're going to get to that, you know.
It reminded me of, I mean, you know, it's different different scenario, obviously, and it's also a movie. But did you ever see Zero Dark 30?
No.
You never saw that? Okay. Well, the last half an hour of that movie, it just reminded me, because you get like almost a first person view of the situation unfold,
Right.
and they go through, and it's just like a well-oiled machine. They just kind of just went through and did what they had to do. Nobody questioned anything. They just went through, and they knew how to react in every room they went to. No matter what they ran into, they knew how to handle it.
And it's unbelievable because you got to go in there going, this guy or whoever it is can just turn that gun and I'm gone.
Yeah.
And they are just running in there and doing their job. And to see them, to see what they, and it's just, it's interesting. So the cop, the first cop who shoots the murderer, shoots him, he goes down. And then another cop comes, and then they start to like swarm. And there's another cop who's got his handgun drawn, and he shoots the shooter like 2 or 3 times on the floor. And there's another cop, so there's like 3 of them. There's another cop who's just screaming like, "Move your hand from the gun! Move your hand from the gun!" Because by that time the shooter was dead. But he's like, "Move your hand from the," because they don't know. You don't know if they're gonna pop up and fire off another couple of rounds at you.
Right.
But to see that like intensity in that moment, it was unbelievably intense. And it just made me think like, that's a special human being, unless my kid is in that building, I don't know if I could go in that building.
Yeah,
I just don't know if I can.
You got to be in the right mindset, it's not an easy thing. I'm sure no matter how quickly they acted and all this, I'm sure in the back of their minds there's some fear there. That's of course there's going to be some element to that. They don't know what's going to be around the next corner, so it's scary, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You got your boys around you, you got or girl, with men and women all around you that are helping you. They got you back, but again, you don't know what, especially if you're the first one up front. You don't know what you're going to turn the corner and see.
No idea what you're heading into. Yeah. And they just rolled in there strong. It's unbelievable. Jimmy Coco Pop, this is a funny thing here. I used to want to visit America. Now there isn't enough money in the world. You're lucky to get any tourist. Talked my bro out of Disney in Florida. They went to Euro Disney instead. I do just kind of feel like the world is laughing at us because it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense that we are just holding on to this goddamn AR-15. Forget the background checks, forget the registry, forget all that stuff. You'd think we would at least just be able to get rid of this one gun alone. And I know people are like, well, the one gun is not going to vocal change. Yeah, but isn't it kind of interesting that it's the same fucking gun every goddamn time? Every time. The one constant in this, besides white male, is the gun.
Unbelievable. The amount of rounds you can get off. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. It's better than that, Frank. You got it. You go.
No, you're right. The one constant is the gun. And there were people. There was a reporter. I think it was whatever, Fox or one of these stupid fucking things. And they said there was someone who said, "Oh, there was a side door. That's what we got to look at. That's what we got to see. The side door is the problem." Because, how they get in and everything. It's like, no, side doors aren't the problem. The doors aren't the issue. They're trying to blame doors for the amount of doors that are in these schools for these people getting into the school. It's like, what are you talking about, man? The one constant is the fucking gun every time. It's this stupid gun that for some reason, people with small dicks need to hold on to. I don't get it. Why they need to fucking have this gun? What is the problem? Why do you need it? You don't need it. And then not that I like to, but I argue with people on Twitter all the time. And there was this one argument. The guy's like, well, we're supposed to have an, it's to protect us from tyranny and the government and this stuff. And my response is, dude, if the government wants to get you, you're not going to stop them. They have better. They have more people. You might take one of them out, but if that's your defense against the government trying to take you down, then you lost already. So, what is the point of holding on to this stupid gun? Hunting. There are plenty of other methods to hunt. There are plenty of other weapons you could use.
Most hunters of dignity will tell you they won't hunt with that gun. That's not a hunting rifle.
Why don't you just hunt with dynamite? What just throw grenades at the thing. What are we doing anymore?
Neil Brennan has a funny bit in his comedy special Blocks, where he talks about people who make that argument that's to protect you from the tyranny of the government. Like once a year on Christmas on Fox Live, they should let those people take on the government. He's like, you get like 10,000 of those people together and you get 2 people from the military. He's like, they can take all their weapons and guns and the military gets to take a drone. And let's see who fucking, and he acts the whole thing out. He's like, he's like, all right. He goes, all right, they're all dead. And he's like, that would be it.
Well, that's the ball game, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I make the argument of, all right, well, Second Amendment, right shall not be infringed. Okay. So if we're talking about the right to bear arms shall not be infringed, forget the militia has to be a regulated militia. People don't seem to understand that when you make this argument that, regulated means regulations, but nobody seems to grasp that concept. But if you talk about not infringing on a person's right to bear arms, well, then there's no limit. So is it legal or possible or advisable or smart for, let's say, a citizen to own a nuclear weapon? Is it that person's right if they somehow obtain a nuclear weapon? Maybe they built it, maybe they stole it, maybe they have it for some reason. I don't know. I know how far-fetched that is, but I'm saying if a citizen can have that, is that and we go, no, we have to take that away. Is that infringing on his right to bear arms?
That's a good argument.
Because anybody would probably say, well, ordinary citizen probably shouldn't have that much firepower. Yeah, that's the point. We're not, you want to own a gun, but what are we doing? Why do you need the most powerful, crazy guns that you need? What was that?
Yeah. Well, it's crazy to think, but I would even relent to the point of nobody wants to take away your Second Amendment rights, and you can have a gun and you can have a rifle, and but that one gun, and people forget, Robin pointed out before, we did ban that weapon in this country before, and
it helped.
Everybody was fine. It
helped.
Yeah, and whether it helped or not, we survived. The Union didn't disintegrate. The Republic lived on without the AR-15 once before. Yeah. Why not have it again? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't want to keep going down this rabbit hole.
It's never ending. I'm not saying abolish the Second Amendment. I'm saying amend it, change it, update it. It was written 250 years ago. We could probably update it a little bit. We update the Constitution all the time. We add amendments. That's why there are amendments. Yeah. We can probably update this one. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's fucking one or two sentences, maybe one, and it's outdated. I'm sorry, but it is.
And the other thing everybody's saying, which is painfully obvious, a wonderful and funny observation, but almost getting to a cliche point just 48 hours later, you have all these rules and laws about people trying to outlaw drag shows and people, protecting our kids in schools and all this stuff. And again, Frank, I'm on this show saying hey, maybe we just stay away from the sex talk in general at fucking third grade. Wait till they're a little older, because I do believe in that. But at the same time, it's you have these people that are going, well, we have to protect these kids from drag queens and homosexuality and all this stuff. But it's okay for them to just get shot up in school.
Yeah, we want to protect our kids, but not from guns. It's what?
Yeah, doesn't make any sense.
You want to protect this? You want to protect kids from a society that doesn't do, they're not hurting anybody, and it's not sex. It's just it's a person in drag. they're not talking about. It's just a person wearing something different or dressed in a different way, or looks different. They're not, doing anything. They're just reading to kids. There's these reading things that they want to stop, drag queens from doing.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why? What is that doing?
Why? Because the other thing too is like, and again, I view it as two different things. I have no problem with somebody going into a school in drag. I don't want like second graders like learning about sexual activity. Like that's a
not
completely
sexual
different
activity.
thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that has drag.
I just want to clarify.
A person being in drag has nothing to do with sexual activity. I'm not talking about that. Of course, you don't want kids being, talked to about that stuff by any.
No, but it's a true point though, because it's like, what the kid that's got two dads, like they can't fucking go in and read, they can't show up at the fucking graduation and kiss each other. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, they want to ban what's it called? Fucking what's it called? Dildos in Texas. It's like, oh, can't have those up in convenience stores. It's like, well, that's how many dildos have killed kids? I don't know.
Are they selling dildos in convenience stores? What's
in like
happening?
CVS or something?
Oh, it is CVS.
Like vibrators or something like that. It's like, I get it. You want to keep them out of, as long as you're along those lines of protecting children, this is a big one. This is a huge.
Yeah, this is a big one.
This is something that's killing. It's the number one cause of death in kids. That's it. Guns.
I think what's going to happen is we're going to have a drag queen go in there and start plowing down kids. And maybe then they'll be like, you know what? This isn't, we got to rethink this. See that drag queen in there?
Yeah, right. No, I don't get. And yeah, Christine Coulson says that it has to do with the slippery slope argument. But so any law is a slippery, you pass any law, there's always a danger of slippery slope. But not, one, not all the time. And if everybody was worried about slippery slope, no laws would get passed. Because if you ban marijuana, then what's next? You ban, alcohol, and then there's this and that. And it's just, it's a slippery slope. Once you ban one thing, it's like, no, it doesn't have to be that way.
It's crazy going back to what you were saying about tyranny. I was reading the TikTok ban bill. Mm-hmm. I mean, you really do have to watch Congress because they put shit in that bill that would allow the government to surveil just damn near anybody for whatever reason. Like there would be, it almost eliminates your privacy online with the way this bill is written. And it's just so like if you give those savages an inch, they'll take a fucking mile, because what they're trying to do with this whole thing, forget TikTok end of it. Like they are literally just trying to take and listen, I have no problem with the government surveilling its citizens, but you better go to a judge and get a fucking warrant for it. Like there has to be a process involved because you can't just be like, oh, we're going to just, spy on Ant today. They're going to come across all sorts of weird pornographic materials,
No, it's ridiculous because I'm sorry. It's just, if anybody has any doubt or anything like that, just look at the thing Jon Stewart did when he was talking about guns. Look at that.
He did a good job.
That was like the perfect interview about it. And I'm not talking about, drag queens doing sexual whatever in front of anybody, kids. Of course that's wrong. But that's not what they're doing. They're reading books.
Yeah. Jimmy Coco Pop, like the Patriot Act did. It's funny, extenuating circumstances cause for, different scenarios. I was okay with some of that Patriot Act stuff at the time. It was necessary. It was a really strange, weird, bizarre time of like, we don't know where our enemies are coming from. So we're going to have to give up a little bit of privacy and rights. So I'm not thrilled about it, but it was, I think, necessary at the time. But now this thing with TikTok, completely unnecessary to give all these people complete and total. Like you want to investigate somebody, that's fine. You want to surveil them, fine. Go to a judge and get a warrant. There's a reason why we have these rules in place. You want to make that process a bit easier because you're investigating criminals or sexual traffickers or fine, all okay with me. But you can't just give the government a right to just flip a switch and look at everything that we're doing in our own personal private lives. It's just, you can't give up that privacy. That's just not, it's not the way our world is built. Frank, this story is so stupid, but
It's about time we have a stupid friggin' story.
it has gotten out of control. And it's one of those things where I read the headline and I go, this guy's being a dick. What a jerk. And then I read the article and I go, damn it, I'm kind of on their side. So it is a airplane situation.
Mm-hmm.
And basically this traveler they're sitting into, there's two seats. There's the window seat, aisle seat, right? Mom traveling with her kid.
Mm-hmm.
This traveler is in the window seat. The kid is in the aisle seat next to the traveler. The mother is behind the kid. The mother goes to the traveler. Can we switch seats so I could sit with my kid? The traveler goes, no, I'm not giving up my seat. And I'm like, who wouldn't give up their seat so that a parent could sit with the kid? Listen, I would. Because I'm a parent, I know what that's like. I'd be like, of course. But at the same time, I know that there are some really peculiar people out there that have their travel superstitions and won't get on a plane unless they're in a window seat. And I think that's
that case.
I think that's what this person was, because they were like, no, I'm not.
Well, I think if that person explained it to the woman like that, listen, I'll panic. I'll have a full-blown panic attack if I'm not sitting next to the window. I'm sorry. I understand your position, but I have to be by a window or else I'll freak the hell out. Maybe then, instead of saying, no, I'm just not doing it. If you explain your situation, then people should understand. Not to mention, what about the person sitting next to her? Can you switch with my daughter so that my daughter can move back and sit next to me?
Work out a three-way trade, right? Because that's the truth, And we've all been in this situation, and I hate it. This is my worst case scenario, where somehow the blame winds up on you, and you're looking around and going, "Well, there's three other people that could take this blame too. There are more options here than just being like, I'm the one being a dick." You could. Why didn't they ask the person next to them? They're just as much to blame. Yet this person got asked first, and now everybody hates this person. That's unfair.
I kind of hate that person.
Well, here's what the person said. They go, the mother and the daughter were part of a large travel group. So why the fuck are they asking me? Why didn't they ask somebody else in the travel group to switch seats? They could have picked another crew to switch. They could have, because that's the thing. Let's say there's a bunch of, they said there's like 20 other people in this group on the plane. You got other two seats. They didn't want to split themselves up to accommodate the woman and the mom. So why is that person being asked to make all the sacrifices? Because they're a stranger?
No, I think that person was asked because they were right there sitting next to the daughter. It was just easier to tap the guy on the shoulder instead of getting up and turning to the group and saying, anybody, she just probably didn't think it was that big of a deal to go, excuse me, sir, would you mind just switching seats with me? She probably didn't see that as a huge deal, but it became a huge deal. So I think you're right, though. Once he says no, I mean, what happened? So that was it? They had to separate the whole flight?
Yeah, that was it. That's what they did. They just sat separate the whole flight. Now,
there was no one else on the plane that could have switched? I mean, sitting next, you got the daughter in front, the mom in the back, and a person sitting next to the mom. Ask that person.
Well, and here's a weird thing. Now you don't want to switch your seat, but you're stuck sitting next to a toddler the whole flight. You know how annoying that is? That's very annoying.
If they're annoying, sure. Yeah, that's probably annoying. But he said, no, I don't want to switch. He could have switched and been nowhere near the toddler.
So some people were on the person's side of not switching because they're like, I refuse to move unless I'm getting the same or, an equal seat or a better seat. And some people were like, what kind of heartless asshole won't move to accommodate mom and daughter And then also you want to sit next to a toddler the whole flight? What are you, a fucking Prince Andrew? Allegedly.
No, you move. You get up and you move.
So who's at fault here? I want pick a side.
I picked. I think the guy who didn't move is a jerk. But unless he's got some condition where he's going to have a panic attack, he's going to freak out if he's not by the window, then I understand. But if he explained that to the mom and said, "Listen, I would love to switch," but that's probably not how it went down. You're saying he was just like, "No."
Yeah, he said hell to the fuck no is what he said to her.
Okay, so that's ridiculous. I
Could have went about it.
I'm on the parents' side then.
This is shocking. The parents on the stranger's side and the non-parent is on the parent side. That's crazy. I didn't see that coming.
So if it's you and your son is sitting in the seat in front of you, and you ask the person sitting next to your son, "Can I switch with you?" and he says, "Hell to the fuck no," or whatever he says, you would have no problem. He's getting a fist to the
face if he says that to me. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna lie. But she asked that person why that person and not the one next to her, like you just said.
I don't know. She asked that person. I have no idea. Yeah. Maybe she did ask the person next to her right after that, but I don't know.
And here's the other thing. It's not a surprise of what seat you're getting. You know what seat you're getting going into the plane. Go up to a flight attendant, go up to the person at the checkout desk, the check-in desk there when you get to the gate, and be like, I'm separated from my daughter. Can you work something out? Put it on them. Well, why do you got to be in there negotiating and trying to figure this shit out yourself?
The only thing I could think of is that if it was a group flight, like you said, maybe they didn't get all their they didn't get their tickets until they got to the airport, and they didn't know where their seats were, and they just went here's your tickets.
Mm.
And then they go, all right. But then why would they be right in front of each other? I don't know.
Then it's the person who is organizing the trip's fault. Because if you're separating the mom from the daughter and other people are just fucking sitting next to each other, then you're the asshole.
The separate seating is definitely the parents' fault or the group's fault. Absolutely. But the not switching is on the guy. Is on the stranger.
Fucking Paul. Maybe the guy was a Republican. Only kids in the womb are cared about. It's a good point.
Boom.
It's a good point. Dia, my son was 9 months old. We flew to Oregon once. He fussed and cried almost the whole time when we landed. This dude came storming up to me, pissed. Took one look at my son and his face softened. You can't get mad at a kid on a plane. It's a shitty place for a kid to be.
Yeah, they're not. If I were, I want to scream on a plane. I hate, flying. It's uncomfortable. It's annoying. If I were a kid, I'd be freaking out too. You got to sit still. First of all, getting the kids to sit still is got to be a nightmare by itself. And then controlling them, telling them you're on a plane, you're flying, they're probably freaking out a little bit too. And then the air pressure changes. It's probably a scary thing, and they're going to freak out a little bit. You got to have a little compassion there. Plus, you throw some headphones on, and you'll be fine.
That's why those Kindles and iPads are just a godsend. You stick one of those in front of these stupid kids. But that must have cut down on kids screaming and crying in planes.
I was on a flight. There was a kid across the aisle screaming, a baby crying. Threw my headphones on. I didn't hear a thing, and it was fine.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. I was thinking giving the headphones to the kid, but you're right. If you put your own headphones on, you're minimizing that too.
I didn't hear a thing. It was perfect.
Thank God for headphones.
Yeah.
Although I'll tell you this, and I stand by this, and you might call me crazy here, but I think if just once, when you have a screaming kid on a plane, you grab that kid and throw them right out the fucking door while the plane is moving. Every kid will be quiet on the plane for the rest of the ride, and then you just show every other kid that little film clip. Be like, they're going to throw you off the plane if you don't shut the fuck up. All you got to do is do it once.
I see.
Think about it. And I know what you're thinking. No CGI bullshit. The kids can detect that. They can smell a fake coming a mile away. You got to really throw one off the plane.
So you're talking about really tossing a kid out the door.
Yeah, one of them's got to go. We got to sacrifice one kid for peace and quiet for everybody else for the rest of time.
Right.
I stand by that.
I'm with Hugo on this one. Too soon.
That and free school lunches for everybody. That's what I'm going to be running on in my next campaign.
I'm with you on half of that stuff.
Too soon
I'm with you
from
on the
what?
school.
When was the last time they threw somebody out of a fucking airplane?
I think he's referring to kids being.
Oh, Dad, I can joke about that.
No, it's not that. Yeah, we're not talking. That's not that. That's the plain thing. Simpsons characters in real life. Now, what are you talking about? Is this like the artist drew up Simpsons characters and made them look real?
No, so the AI is all the rage.
Oh God, here we go.
Now you just like type in the thing, like, let me see, blah, blah, blah. I could type in, let me see Frankie C in a MAGA hat, and I will finally get that image. As it seems to be the only way I can get that
It ain't happening otherwise.
We should talk about that. You poo-pooing a bit.
I will poo-poo a bit that gets me in a MAGA hat. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
We had this funny little bit that we were talking about doing, and then I said to Frank, I go, I'll digitally put you in a MAGA hat. And then I showed him how ridiculous it would look like that. It was painfully obvious he was not wearing it. And he was like, nope, not even doing that. I was like, you're not even going to do this part of it? You want no part of that whole...
I want to be as far away from MAGA as I could possibly be. That just represents the awfulness that I just associate it with, just awful, terrible.
But even for a bit, like I thought you would see that, the laugh will supersede any kind of, and nobody could accuse you of being a MAGA supporter, not with the premise of the bit.
No, ain't happening. You're not gonna get me in one of those hats. And I don't know. I just don't see, like, is it worth the laugh? No, it's not. We'll do something else funny that'll get a laugh.
I don't know. We're running out of juice here. You better come up with something good. Fucking running out of funny juice. So anyway, so this guy goes into AI and he types in, I want to see the Simpsons characters, in, what they would look like if they were real. And it was not just the Simpson characters. It's a bunch of cartoon characters. The link for the photos is in the description if you guys want to.
Oh, I hate you. You can't put them up.
Yeah, I can't put it. I'm not sure that this guy won't try and sue us if I put his fucking pictures on. So,
damn it.
All I could do is give the link and everybody could take a look at it. I'll tell you what, though, the fucking olive oil at number 15 is kind of like hysterical and amazing.
Well, I feel like olive oil is what's her name? All right, that I've seen. That's not AI.
No, these are
God.
These are all AI images.
I don't know. I've seen the Mo #1, the Mo one. I've seen that like years ago.
Really?
Yeah, that one I've seen. I haven't seen these. Okay, it's not just. Yeah, it's all different cartoons. It's not just.
Yes. So we'll go through the numbers. Mo is 1, 2 is Eric, 3 is Carl Fredrickson from Up, which is hysterical.
Yep.
That's a pretty good one. Moana, okay. Ariel, okay, whatever. Tinkerbell, fine. Pocahontas, nobody gives a shit. Here's why nobody gives a shit about the princesses. Like, Disney hires all these fucking people. Like, we've seen this already. That's in the Disney parks,
Right. I got Ned Flanders now as number 9.
Ned Flanders.
That's a good one.
Look at 10.
Oh, that's my brother.
Right? Now that guy kind of looks like your brother.
He kind of does. I'll give you that.
I mean, your brother would have looked far better than this AI composition, but that's,
Then you got Rapunzel, Aladdin, Anna from Frozen, Peter Pan.
The Peter Pan eyebrows are pretty good.
Peter Pan. Whoa. Those eyebrows are freaking me out. Olive oil, I always liked, what's her name as Olive Oil from the movie?
The one with Robin Williams. Yeah, she was good. I forget her name.
Perfect. I feel like from the cartoon, she was a perfect Olive Oil.
Yeah. This girl's good too, though, because she got the little schnoz action going on.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Lady Tremaine is good. Okay. Handsome Hans is good.
Lady Tremaine. I'm not sure who that is.
Kristoff. Elsa's got a little bit of a lazy eye. John Smith. Snow White. Snow White's hot as fuck.
John Smith.
Look at Bart Simpson,
Snow White. There you go.
number
Bart
23.
Simpson. Bart Simpson's freaking me out a little bit.
Right?
Yep. Was that number?
And-
That was the last one.
That was the last one. Yeah. And
Right,
Bart
not
Simpson
bad.
a little creepy.
Bart Simpson's a little creepy looking. But they're not bad. All right. The Mo one I've definitely seen, though. That's an old picture. There was some artist that came up with a bunch of them. And Mo is an old one. Shelley Duvall. Thank you, Laura.
Shelley Duvall.
She was a great olive oil.
Great olive oil. Good job, Laura. Here, there was another one. I'll flash this up on the screen quick. That's Homer.
It's not bad. It looks like, I don't want to say. I'm not going to say it.
Somebody we know.
Somebody we know.
But he looks a little creepy and deranged, though, which I guess Homer kind of does.
Homer's kind of deranged.
Did we talk about how they're going to end The Simpsons?
No, but we should.
How are they going to
Oh,
end
yeah,
that?
we did. We did talk about it.
That it was all a dream, or it was from season 2 on or something? It was a
There's
dream.
a theory. Yeah, there's a theory about that. Like in the third season or so, Bart on an April Fool's prank puts Homer in like a coma.
Right.
And so the theory is everything after that episode is Homer's coma dreams.
Yeah, I think I said this before too. I love that because the fact that they never got older and like that would explain a lot and just make it all like wonderfully realistic and
It would be nice.
fun.
You never know. Plus, that's when it got like ridiculous. The first and second season, and to an extent, I think the third, were kind of based in some sort of reality. And then they put Homer on they send Homer into space, and they fucking, then they do like the crazy outlandish things. But the first couple of seasons were like they get a dog, they go to counseling, they do they do these, they go camping, so
Realistic stuff, right?
yeah, like stuff families would do.
Did Jonah Hill get engaged? Fans are speculating. 39 years old. He's been with Olivia Millar, and pictures surfaced that has a ring on her finger.
Whoa!
The Daily Mail has this story. She's pretty hot. Like, I like. Here's the thing. I'm not going to speak against Jonah Hill, a fellow fat guy. I'm on his side forever. But
Sometimes he's not.
he's a little skeevy looking at times, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, he looks a little like he hasn't showered in a week or so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I hate to say this, but I have to. I worry about him. I don't think he's going to live a long, fruitful life.
Really?
For a couple of reasons. One, this is an obvious one, the weight fluctuation. Like this guy he lost a ton, then he gained a lot of it back, and he's losing it, he's gaining it. It's weird. And you look at him from like week to week, and sometimes he looks like famished, like he's starving himself. And other times he's like, it looks like, oh, you've had a bad 2 weeks of eating, because he's like way heavier in 2 weeks than you thought he would have been.
Agreed.
But and he also has this like starving artist kind of like emo side to him where I don't know. I worry about him a bit.
He shouldn't. I mean, he's in whatever movie he wants to be in. He was nominated for an Oscar. I mean,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like he writes really good shit. He's like, I think he's just there. I don't think it's good when a guy is too in touch with their feelings. And I feel like Jonah is one of those guys that is just way in touch with his feelings.
when you say in touch with his feelings, you mean like too in his own head and too
like I bet when he gets sad, he probably gets really sad, and it probably lasts for like 5 days.
maybe. I don't know. I mean, last time I talked to Jonah Hill, I mean, couldn't tell you.
Like I worry about that with like singers, songwriters, like James Hetfield. Like he's to me one of those guys where it's like when Hetfield's in a funk, he's gonna write 4 depressing songs in a row.
But that's his catharsis. That's how he gets out his feelings.
Most songwriters, I feel, are you have to be way in touch with your feelings to write that kind of shit. And I think that's a little dangerous. And I think it's dangerous when you got like a Jonah kind of guy and he's fluctuating on the weight and all this crazy stuff. And by the way, too, everybody, and he's talked about this too, it's just everybody talks about his weight. Everybody's just constantly like, and I'm sorry, I'm guilty of it too. It's like, you see how fat he is, or you see how skinny he is now? Like, it's always about
Well,
the
I think-
guy's weight.
Well, that's only because it's so dramatic of a change in such a short time. You know, that's like the big thing with him. You know, I feel like in most roles, he's Jonah Hill. You know,
Yeah.
very rarely does he branch out into other, you know, he's not like a very, what's the word, you know, he doesn't do a lot of different types of roles. He's very the same kind of character in every movie.
And I like him because I think he just made a movie with like his therapist, where it was
Okay.
like all about him and his therapist, and like how shitty it must be to be his therapist, which that's kind of funny. I could appreciate that.
All right, so.
But like that, it's like that kind of shit where it's like, you know,
At least he
I
has
don't
a therapist. That's a good start.
it is a good start, but I worry about him. I worry about him. And I also like, there's a bunch of stuff of his that he's made that I want to see, and I do like him. But I will say this: he was great in Superbad. He was really great in Moneyball. He was phenomenal in The Wolf of Wall Street. And outside of that, like that last one that he did with Eddie Murphy was so disappointing.
I didn't even see that.
It was one of those things where like I saw it and I was like, oh, it's not good. If you want to watch it, watch it. But the more I've let time go between watching it and now, I'm kind of like, that was a waste of time of a movie.
I mean, he was playing himself, but a funny movie that I think is underrated is, I think it's called This Is the End.
Is that where they all play themselves?
They all play themselves and it's like the end of the world.
Yeah, I got to see that. I haven't seen that yet.
You haven't seen it? Oh,
No.
It's very good. It's definitely underrated. It's really funny. And Jonah Hill, I think it's because he's like, it's just, take my word for it. You'd like it, I think.
Because he's like when it's Jonah Hill, Jonah Hill is playing Jonah Hill, it's funny.
Yeah, Get Him to the Greek. Funny because it's him playing him.
That's true. He was really good in Get Him to the Greek. That was a good one.
You know, there was a movie where he babysits a bunch of kids and it gets all crazy and whatever. He was good in that. I forget what it's called, but he was very good in that. I mean, when you put him in something, it's not like you could say, well, Jonah Hill was bad. It's either the movie's bad, because he's always, you know what you're getting when you get Jonah Hill, I feel like.
Right.
You know, it's usually either it's a shit movie or it's a good movie, but Jonah Hill's consistent, I feel like.
Very much so. Lesbianics, Frank.
What is this?
So this was trending on Twitter just today, and it is a post from Ask Aubrey at @ask_Aubrey. And I know who this person is, but again, you got to put out something pretty significant to start trending on Twitter these days.
Right.
And so the tweet says, "Fellas, is it gay to have sex with women?" ? And the photograph is again more text, and here's what it says: face sitting, cowgirl, and any other position with the woman on top are fundamentally acts of homosexuality.
What?
The male, by being in a sexually submissive position, is engaging in homosexual activity, and conversely, the woman being in a dominant position is engaging in lesbianics.
Oh, so this is just a made-up word. Okay, got it.
But what a great word, lesbianics.
I mean, let's be honest. It sounds like let's be honest.
Like, I mean, just the mechanics of lesbianism, lesbianics. There's something about that. I just appreciate that word, whoever made it up.
Who is this person and what are they? I mean, is this Ask Aubrey saying that she agrees with this? Or is this like, look how ridiculous this is?
Listen, you know me, and I get in trouble for this. I think everything is comedy. I don't think this is serious whatsoever.
It does have a lot of ha-has.
Yeah, and there's a little thing on the bottom that says, "Do not support or condone the ideas or behaviors in these posts, but publish them to shed light and initiate need conversation." I don't know.
So that seems serious.
The thing came out just 3-4 hours ago. It's got almost 1 million views already, so people are reading it. But
that doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, it's just kind of this crazy way of like, here we are in the world where now If you let your chick sit on your face, you're gay.
That doesn't make any sense. That's not the definition of
Listen to me.
homosexuality.
If that made sense, you can just call me fucking Liberace right now, all right? Because that's, that's how your old pal likes to get down, okay, big dog?
Hey.
There ain't nothing wrong with a little bit of that
Hey.
action.
Nothing wrong with any of it. It's all good.
Here's the other thing.
Here is good.
Go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was done. Go ahead.
I was going to say, here's the other thing. I used to like it when the girl got on top out of pure laziness. Now that I'm 40, I like it when she gets on top because my hip's killing me.
All right.
I can't move the way I used to.
All right. I don't need to know that.
It used to be like, would you like it if I get on top of it? Like, yeah, you dirty girl. Now it's like, yeah, my fucking hip is driving me crazy. Please.
You're more like, I'd like it if you didn't wake me. Just do what you got to do. I don't care. As long as whatever's happening happens, I'm good.
Now I'm like, can we get a 20? Because I need a Gatorade.
A freaking sandwich or some pancakes or something. Because I can't.
I need a breather. Getting old sucks. Dude, getting old stinks. I mean,
it does. I had a little bit of right after I hit 40, like literally the day after I hit 40, I had like a little bit of a slump, like that physically. Like I was sick, and then I had the back thing, and there's a couple of other things that I can't even think. I think I had like a tooth. I had my wisdom teeth pulled. I had some other shit going on. And I was like, what the fuck, man? I just made it to 40. And now all this shit happened. So, but once I got past that hump, knock on wood, we're running like a well-oiled machine right now.
Yeah, it's no bullshit that like 40's the cutoff, man. Like it is like a hard deadline. It's a clock.
Yeah.
Like at 40, it all went downhill.
No, I hear you. Did you hear this? Like, I think I talked about this once before, but have you hear that Neil deGrasse Tyson thing that the first person to, there's a theory that the first person to be immortal, to live forever, is already born.
Oh, I think I have heard him say that.
Meaning, like, let's say that person right now is 10 years old. When they get to, I don't know, 70, and that time, let's say they're 10 now, so 60 years from now, they'll be able to extend their life to, let's say, live to 150. Then before they get to 150, by that time, we'll have the technology to extend their life to this much, and then to that much. So by the time they keep reaching those milestones, we'll be able to extend life more and more, and that person could just keep going.
We are threatening our self-inflicted rule of doing an hour tonight, but I have to ask you now that you brought this up, what do you think about that? Because I'm of two thoughts here where I can't help but feel as I look at people get older, I watch my parents, I watch people that are older than my parents. And my parents are in their 70s, so I think they still, but I kind of feel like 100 seems to be a great number. Like 100 seems to be pretty good. And it's funny, Frank, I used to joke around like, and I still do, like, oh, if I go down, just leave me. How many more steaks can I have? Like, it's over. We've done it all. But the truth of the matter is like there is this thing built inside all of us to stay alive for as long as possible, no matter how shitty it is, no matter how 40 you are, and that hip is driving you crazy.
Sure, that's our instinct. Our I forget what it's called, but it's your wanting to live instinct. That's what stops you from, it's what gets you up out of the water when you're underwater. It's your survival instinct. That's what it's called, survival instinct.
Survival instinct.
You just want to keep, stay alive. Of course, nobody wants to give up. But then you get to like 100, and if they say, oh, I could extend your life another 50 years. Well, you're 100. is the next 50 years going to be, miserable, and you can't walk or you can't do this? Your mind is going, and you can't, you control your bowels and all this stuff. What's it going to be like?
Rose, Aunt, you're too young to have hip problems. Tell me about it. When it rains, it gets worse. That turned out to be true too. I thought that was just a joke.
The dampness gets to your joints.
Oh my God, Hugo, 30s are old. You feel it. Slow down and hangovers are horrible. Body pops and knee cracks. Charlie horses and the thing after drinking hard. Who has the time for alcohol? I didn't feel that in my 30s, but I do feel that in my 40s.
You know what? I had those problems in my 20s. The knee cracking, the back problems. I had back surgery in my 20s. I had
yeah, but that was like a sports injury, though. That was
Charlie horses. Still, it was a back problem.
It was an old age, though.
No.
Rebecca, I'm 45. Got off the couch a couple hours ago and felt something funny in my back. Now I'm laying in bed with a heating pad, wondering what I did to deserve.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything to cripple yourself. You sneeze, you could throw your back out. That's how ridiculous it is.
I'm laughing, Rebecca, because I feel this on like twice a week. This happens to me where I'm like, so you get up and you're like, what the fuck is that now?
Yeah. You turn a certain way. You go to pick up something off the floor.
Yeah.
And you go, oh shit. And you have to sit down. And it's like, what is that? Stop it.
I'm at the point now, if I drop money on the floor, it had better be a $50 bill. Because if anything is less, I'm not picking it up. It's just not worth it.
That's where that's living now.
I'm going to pay more in insurance when my insurance goes up,
Yeah, one of the kids will pick it up.
One of the kids, that's true. Dude, I'm doing that too. So we have the old Sicilian security system here at the house. For those of you who don't know what that is, if you have a sliding glass door in your home, Sicilians will put a wooden bar on the bottom so that you can't physically open the door. Oh,
I thought the Sicilian thing was anybody who attacks your house, you put a horse's head in their bed.
That too. So the bar just lays in the track for the sliding glass door. And now when I want to go out the back door, I literally call my daughter over to pick up the bar.
Dude. You gotta maybe do some stretches or something. I don't know.
I don't know. I gotta get back to the gym. But going back to it, like I see what you're saying, but what I think is a lot of things are gonna have to change because your quality of life at 100 is just not good. And I wonder how I'm gonna feel when I get to that age, because I find myself every sort of plateau I get to. I want to know what you think in the chat. I want to know what Frank thinks. Every plateau I get to, I am amazed at how much everything that everybody said before me about that particular age is true, and how much my perspective on a lot of things have changed now that I'm here.
Well, I think it's different now because.
So wait, can I just put a bow on that?
Yeah.
To wrap it up, I look at it now and go 100, sitting on the couch and just kind of watching TV and just barely surviving and having trouble going to pee and all that stuff doesn't sound appealing to me. And I wonder if that will change by the time I hit 95, where I'm like, God, I want another 30 years.
Well, what if you get to that point and they could like cyborg you up where you're like half robot and shit?
Well, okay, my question to you is what if they don't cyborg you up? Do you think you're going to change and want to keep it going as long as possible, no matter what age you are or what kind of quality of life you have?
I don't know, man. It's rough. I mean, unless you're Dick Van Dyke type of shape at 99 or however old.
Getting into accidents and leaving the scene of the crime kind of shit.
I mean, right. Unless you're still dancing and singing and you're 97, 98 years old. It's a tough time to when you get to that age. Not everything's going to be as easy as it was. But my other point is I feel like each decade, with every generation, the decades get pushed back. In other words, when we were kids, being in your 50s and 60s seemed very old to us.
Yeah.
And even like you know, just the way people looked and acted and everything. But now, 50 and 60 is not that old anymore. It doesn't seem old. You got, you know, Jennifer Lopez is 50, 51. And it's like she's dancing and doing all these tours and singing and jumping around stage and stuff. And it's not like, you know, what's the youngest Golden Girl was 50 or 51.
I know, right?
So, you know, that was in the 80s. So I feel like it's different now. It's everybody, the bar is getting pushed back a little bit.
All right, this is a fucked up question, Frank. We can't stay on these for too much long. By the way, we can shelf some of this talk for 420 show.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Should we save this question for 420 show?
That's a good question for 420. Because
this is
now.
All right, here's the question. Would you upload your consciousness to an AI world to be rich and immortal, like live forever in the meta? Let's save that. Good call. Let's save that for a 420 show.
That's a trippy question that we can get into. We could really go nuts on that one.
Yeah, I love that question. That's a great question. All right, final topic of the podcast here, Frankie. See, Pepsi changes their logo. People go crazy. I feel like any sort of change now, people just go crazy.
I like the new logos. Fine, you know, I don't see anything wrong with it. The only thing I'll say is that it's a little bigger than the can. I'm kidding. I know that's the thing. But no, it looks fine. I got no problem with that logo.
Here's what's weird to me. The new logo, which is on the right, if you're looking at the screen, that is the Pepsi logo to me. The thing that we've been living with for the last 15, 20 years is not the real logo, because if you look at the logo before that logo, it's the new logo. Like the old logo had Pepsi in the white part of the swirly do.
Did it? And it wasn't that font though. It was probably the old font. The
font changed. Yeah. But this idea of like, because if you remember the Today logo, right?
Yeah.
That was the Tomorrow logo. Just if that thing swirled and moved a little more, it dipped and made that weird little wave thing. That's what it did in all the commercials.
That's funny. Paul says old Pepsi looks like a stomach. It kind of does. Like an actual, like a model of the digestive tract.
So the current one?
Yeah, no, the one on the left.
The Today one, yeah.
The old one. It looks like
that
white part looks like a stomach. Right.
It does. Yeah. This is the thing that you will need stapled if you keep drinking these cans once a day.
I like the one on the right. I got no problem with that one.
Me too. It's old school. I mean, I don't care for the font all that much. The P looks a little weird.
I think it does look a little weird, but I think I wonder if they tried it with the writing going along with the
wave.
Curve, the wave. I don't know, but it's fine. I got no problem with this. They changed it to all capital letters. Looks like.
Yeah.
They were all lowercase in the old one.
Good point. It's funny though, because Pepsi changes their shit all the time. That Coca-Cola writing has been the exact same.
Oh, that big script. Yeah.
Yeah. They have not changed that friggin' logo once.
Yeah, I wonder why. Well, seems like what the hell? Why not? Why not change the logos? Who cares? Just freshen it up.
You know what's weird though? Do you feel like there's a winner and a loser? There's a first and a second place in every category. Like Coca-Cola is one and Pepsi's two.
Right. I agree.
I don't even know if that's real. I don't know what their sales are. I have no idea anymore. I'm pretty sure Coca-Cola has always been winning.
It's got to be, because whenever you want soda, the first instinct is to say Coke. Rum and Coke. No one says rum and Pepsi.
Well, the name of it actually is Coke, isn't it? I mean, another name for soda is Coke.
No, I think it's the brand name. It's like Band-Aid.
No, but Coke, C-O-K-E, is like another word for soda. But Coca-Cola is the brand name. So
you could have a Coke, but it's a Pepsi?
Yes.
That's weird. You're freaking me. This is another 420 topic.
It is. It really is.
I can't have a Coke, but it's actually a Pepsi.
Like McDonald's is always number one. Burger King is number two.
Yeah.
And it's rare that you ever see that number two overtake number one. It almost
That is-
never ever happens.
I can't think of a time where I'm trying to think if there's ever a case of that. Maybe I'd say in the potato chip company business, I feel like number one was Wise for a long time, and I don't think it's number one anymore.
Mm.
Maybe Doritos or Lay's or something. I
That's
feel like that fluctuates.
That's a good question. Who's the number one chip? Wise
like-
or
Yeah,
Lay's?
I feel like 80s and 90s it was either Wise or Lay's, and now it's anybody's game. I feel like Wise and Lay's are still there, but I don't think they're number one anymore.
Mm.
That's my
What's the
two
number
cents.
one ice cream?
Uh,
Not like what you love most or what tastes the best. Like
Ben and Jerry's maybe, or
number one.
Haagen-Dazs, Ben and Jerry's.
I think Breyers.
Really?
Yeah, because I think I don't know. I'd love to know what people think about this. I feel like Breyers is always first in the aisle. Like
I don't know if it's first. It's there. I always see it, but I feel like there are more flavors than the other ones. I mean, Breyers to me is like a handful of flavors. You don't get any wacky, crazy flavors with Breyers.
you don't. Yeah, they are traditional. They are sticking with it. They are conservative. If Breyers ice cream could vote on the Second Amendment, they'd vote to keep it the way they make ice cream flavors. Very laid back.
Yeah, I don't. I grew up with Breyers. I have no problem with Breyers.
I don't think there's a better vanilla than Breyers. You just cannot get a better vanilla than Breyers.
It's a bold statement.
It's I think it's undisputed.
All right,
There's no better vanilla than Breyers.
I'm in. Paul says boycott Ben and Jerry's. I heard something about this. They support the insurrection. There was something like the owners or something, or like, yeah, there was something.
Those
like that.
tree hugging hippies, I highly doubt it.
I'm telling you, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, maybe Paul's wrong and I'm wrong. But I heard something that sounds familiar.
Mm.
So I'd look it up.
Budweiser, like
King of beers. I
with
don't know.
all the craft beers and all the other things, it's still. I feel like it's still Budweiser.
Is it? You think?
I think so.
I feel well. It's weird because the region, like, I feel like in our neck of the woods, maybe Sam Adams. It depends on where you go in the country. Like in New England, probably Sam Adams over Bud.
Yeah,
But you're talking overall.
and you walk into any restaurant, it's Bud Light, and then okay, maybe Sam Adams or whatever the hell else.
Yeah,
It's always those two that are going to be there.
yeah.
And again, it's not. Yeah, look at Paul. Ew, it's not. They're not necessarily the best.
No, they're not.
The best thing. I'm just saying who's number one. One instance where this happened, and this is an easy one: Oreo and Hydrox. People don't know, but Hydrox was first, and Oreo came second.
That'll always boggles my mind. Why would you name a? It sounds like a laundry detergent. Why would you name your cookie Hydrox?
Yeah, it's a bad name.
That's such a weird name. They're
That's
still
why.
around, right? They still make cookies.
I don't know if they still are, but they were for a really long time.
I feel like they have them like on planes, so you can't get Oreos, you get Hydrox.
Yeah, you get a Hydrox. Fucking Tennessee, that backwards ass state. You can get Hydrox still, probably.
Hydrox.
All right,
What?
that's it. That's all I
That is
got,
it.
Frankie. So you got anything else?
Just become a member. That 420 show is coming up pretty quick. We're gonna bring some members on, and we're gonna talk to you guys. We'll bring up some topics. We'll have a good time. I'm gonna get drunk. You don't have to partake, or it's not an obligation. But,
You know, that's another thing. Sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry.
Why the gummies are a bit more appealing? Because if there's no hangover.
Is that right?
Yeah, there's no like, ugh, for the next day.
See, I'm pro gummy because you're not. It's just something you take yourself. You're not forcing other people to inhale it all
Yeah.
around you.
It's true.
It's just it's like alcohol. You're just doing it to yourself.
It's a good point.
Thank you. So become a member. Only members can be on the show with us. So that's good. Join up.
Catch you guys on the next episode Friday, baby. Have a great one.
Show me potato salad.
Maybe we